Dak Prescott sends aggressive message ahead of Cowboys game with Ravens. Dallas Cowboys suffered an embarrassing 44-19 loss to the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, September 15th, but franchise quarterback Dak Prescott says he's more than ready to take on the team's next opponent. The Cowboys host the Baltimore Ravens and reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson on Sunday, September 22nd, and speaking about the matchup, Prescott says the Cowboys are going to be aggressors. "We have to play our best and bring it." Speaking with press following practice on September 19th, Prescott said the team is going to bring it to the Ravens. He had a strong message for his opponents, stating, "We're going in and playing our game. And that's on them on how they're going to adapt to that. We're going to be the aggressors and bring it to them." Prescott added that, "We just got to go out there and play our best. It's week 3. It's about a process." He also threw a little shade at the press, stating, "We can't get overwhelmed in what people are writing about us. It's simply a process that we've got to focus on getting better each and every day with the right attitude that we come in here. Understand that we're trying to put the best versions of ourselves on the field each and every Sunday regardless of what happened last Sunday. It's the NFL. My expectations are high." Speaking in a press conference following the Saints' loss on September 15th, Prescott assessed his first 2 weeks of the regular season. "My expectations are crazy high, so I'm not going to give you a great, maybe a realistic answer," Prescott said. "I'm seeing it well, putting the ball where I want to. That one interception is going to get at me, just because Tyron made a hell of a play. Did a good job of playing through one route and getting to the other. Outside of that, there may be a few throws that I want to get back," he added. "But as far as seeing the defense getting to the beginning of the offense, and what I want in the position and in the plays that we want to, I feel good about it and confident that we're going to continue to get better as a team." He also said that perfection isn't what he's looking for and that not everyone on the team has to be perfect. But everybody's got to do their job and trust their job and understand that's where the big plays come from. "Part of it for me, I think maybe it's felt like I was at this point last year," he added. "It was a lot later in the year when I did it, but going back to using my feet more, whether it's scrambling, extending the plays to look to throw the ball down the field, or maybe just going and getting a couple yards and getting down. I wouldn't say it's about being perfect, but understanding that I do have that ability and that is a huge part of our offense. Got to bring it to life, I think." Cowboys predicted as landing spot for $37 million trade deadline steal. Of the many issues the Cowboys are dealing with heading into Week 3 and their matchup against the Ravens, wide receiver is a problem relatively low on the checklist. The running back committee has been a shambles, the defensive line just got bulldozed, and the rookie left tackle, Tyler Guyton, is having a rough go of things. It'd be nice to have depth at receiver behind star CeeDee Lamb, who is rusty after having not practiced all summer during a contract holdout. But the Cowboys have other issues. Still, when it comes to repairing some of this roster's problems, especially via trade, adding a receiver might be the lowest hanging fruit. The Cowboys certainly are not giving up on Guyton. They're not giving up assets to get a running back, and the D-line needs an overhaul, not a tweak. With that in mind, ESPN insider Dan Graziano sees the Cowboys fixing one problem they can potentially fix, and one that they apparently want to fix. That would be adding a quality number 2 option behind Lamb, in this case Carolina receiver Diontae Johnson. Diontae Johnson has had effort issues. There is no doubt that Johnson has talent, and that will always pique the interest of the Cowboys. At his best, he is a number 1 receiver on most teams, a guy who racked up 107 catches and 1,161 yards during his Pro Bowl season in 2021 with the Steelers. There's also no doubt why the Steelers traded him to Carolina for cornerback Diontae Jackson and a pick swap. Johnson's willingness to run routes with conviction, block, and give full effort has been a problem throughout his career, and was enough of a headache for Pittsburgh that the Steelers simply wanted to be rid of him. Johnson is in the final year of a front-loaded, 2-year, $37 million contract he signed with the Steelers. Wrote Graziano. Johnson was traded from Pittsburgh to Carolina this offseason. He's 28 years old, averaged 873 yards per season with the Steelers, and is making a mere $7 million this year, in the final year of his contract. If you pick him up halfway through the season, you're paying $3.5 million for a receiver with a solid track record. If Johnson's production benefits from the switch to Dalton at quarterback in Carolina, he could be the steal of the deadline. Cowboys need depth in WR room. Graziano picked the Patriots as a top potential fit for Johnson, who is not old, he's 28, but probably not the young guy the Patriots want. New England certainly does not want a locker room problem on the roster, not when they're in for a long season. Graziano also mentioned, the Rams, Chiefs, Commanders, and Cowboys would also all love to add a talented WR. The Cowboys do have some reason for that. The numbers in 2024 have not been great. After Lamb, there is Brandon Cooks, who is nearly 31 and in the last year of his contract. Cooks has 6 catches for 59 yards through 2 weeks, and while he is a respected veteran, he's probably not in the Cowboys' long-term plans. Jalen Tolbert, a third-round pick in 2022, is getting the chance to play and has shown some promise. He has 7 catches for 94 yards, but he has struggled as a blocker and might be better served as a third option. That's where Johnson could come in. Yes, effort and attention to detail are problems, but the Cowboys have still traditionally welcomed talented players, even those who are questionable in the locker room. Rising star, Bears RB named trade candidate for Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys may still need help in the RB group, and one Chicago Bears ball carrier is being named as a worthwhile option. While the team has Dalvin Cook waiting in the wings, the overall performance of the group has been lackluster through 2 weeks. That's why Athlon Sports' Mike Fisher is considering the options in a September 20th article. One of the names mentioned is Bears RB Khalil Herbert, who has shown serious promise in his first few years in the league. A so-called rising star with the Bears, Herbert averaged 5.7 yards per carry last season. His $1.08 million cap hit makes him an attractive, cost-effective option, Fisher wrote. But he's a free agent after this year, so maybe Chicago will give him up for a pick. But he'd only be a rental in Dallas. That's not a thrilling case in favor of the move, but the point is there. Herbert is a proven RB who could be acquired for cheap. The biggest obstacle in the way of a trade is that the Bears are 1-1 and looking competitive rather than mid-season sellers. Jerry Jones speaks on Derrick Henry links during the offseason. Baltimore Ravens RB Derrick Henry was repeatedly connected to the Cowboys. Dallas was clearly in the RB market after the departure of Tony Pollard, and Henry was the most high-profile ball carrier available. However, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is now saying there's no substance to those links as the team gets ready to face Baltimore on Sunday. In an interview with 105.3 The Fan, Jones waved off any serious negotiations with Henry. There are a lot of good players that you are connected with, Jones said. When you've got movement, I'll bet you're connected with 90% of all the free agents that are out there. That's not really connected at all. That's a name. We got other things we've got to get ready to do other than just regret or lament on whether or not we signed one of those players we're playing on Sunday. Henry has totaled 130 yards and 2 touchdowns on 31 carries in his first 2 games with the Ravens.